Hello, and welcome back to the Career Jumpstart series where we help you jumpstart your career in tech. My name is Sarah Hayes. I'm the lead Luddy Peer Advisor and help with designing the weekly digest and managing the YouTube channel. In this Career Jumpstart episode, I will discuss the topic of feedback. As a senior in informatics, I have had the opportunity to provide and receive feedback, whether it's in group projects or even course evaluations. I also have had experience within different internship opportunities where I've been able to either receive feedback from the employer or provide it. And this is pretty common, which is why it's important to be able to ask for, receive, and provide feedback to establish yourself both personally and professionally. With that being said, let's get into it. First, asking for feedback. It's not always easy and it's not always exciting, but it is helpful and it is mature. Asking for feedback is essential for a few different reasons. The first being that it can help you improve your performance and it creates open communication. This open communication allows for transparent dialogue between you and your employer, which can really help later down the road in case there's some bumps in the road. Next, it gives you the opportunity to learn from mistakes and learning from your colleagues. So maybe they have a way of doing things that you haven't thought of. And maybe that's proposed in this discussion for feedback. Now that you know the benefits of asking for feedback, you may be wondering, Sarah, how do I initiate this conversation? And that is what I'm here to help you with. In order to ask for feedback, you want to be sure you ask for it at an appropriate time. Once you have that appropriate time asking for feedback, schedule the meeting. Send a Zoom link or put it on the calendar. This way, it is for sure going to happen. Once the meeting is scheduled, start to prepare questions. Maybe you can ask how you could improve upon something or a certain skill once you are in that meeting. This will show that you've really taken the time and you're using their time wisely in order to develop yourself. Next, take notes during the meeting. Again, this shows that you're attentive and you care, you want to improve, and then it will be received way better. Next, after the meeting, reflect and learn how to improve on the feedback that they give you. You are going to want to make sure you say thank you, the person providing feedback for you, because they've taken time and thought in how investment in you and how you can improve. So show that appreciation. And lastly, ask for feedback regularly. Consistency is so important when it comes to feedback because there could be a long block of time that goes by without you realizing that something needs to be improved upon and it's not addressed because a meeting has not been initiated. So make sure you're consistent with this. Next, we are going to dive into receiving feedback. Receiving feedback, similar to asking for feedback, can not always be fun, not always be easy, but it is important. First, when you are receiving feedback, be sure to absorb what the person is saying, listen to them. It's easier said than done. It might sound easy, but when you get in that conversation, you want to make sure that you are being attentive. With that being said, avoid being defensive. When the conversation gets going, your body language might be communicating something that shouldn't be communicated at that time or is representing what you're thinking in the wrong way. So be aware of your body language. Next, when you are receiving feedback, acknowledge what the person is saying. You can do this by summarizing what you heard from them. This will give a lot of clarity because maybe what they're saying isn't what you're hearing and interpreting. And so it allows for that better understanding of the suggestions. Next, find common ground. It might not always be easy in the conversation, and you might not always agree. They might not always agree. However, you can still show a graceful reaction in the moment, and this will fulfill later interactions and help you find that common ground, which is vital when you're working together. Last but not least, again, similar to asking for feedback, when you're receiving feedback, say thank you, show your appreciation. If you've found someone that is willing to offer valuable information, leverage that source because it will help you. Last but not least, we are going to discuss providing feedback. So, say you've asked for feedback, you've received it, and now someone has asked you, and it's your turn to provide it. When you're providing feedback, you're going to want to make sure that it's goal oriented. There should be a purpose to the conversation. You know what you want to communicate to them. So go into the conversation with that in mind. Next, when you're providing feedback, focus on the future. What has happened in the past has already happened. There's not much that can be done about it. And so there's no reason to focus on that when you could switch the conversation to how you could improve what had happened so it doesn't happen again. Next, when providing feedback, remember, it is about the process, not the person. Feedback can really get out of hand when it comes to this because you don't want to be jabbing at their character. And if you think about it from the receiving end, you don't want to feel like you're being jabbed at, as your character is. So therefore, when you're providing it, focus on the process. What is going on? What's the principle? What does it come down to? And approach it that way. Second to last is do not, beneficial feedback isn't afraid to be negative, but it can be positive. And this is a point I really want to focus on in this video because I have talked a lot about negativity and negative feedback, but keep in mind, there is positive feedback and positive feedback should be given. When you are providing with feedback, focus on a positive. This can really boost the confidence of the person on the receiving end. And it's important to acknowledge what has gone well. Last but not least, when you're providing feedback, don't assume that you are right or what you're saying is right because the person on the receiving end might have something to elaborate on that you didn't know about, or they might have a reasoning that you haven't discussed yet. So go into the conversation with an open mind. And this is very important because it can direct the way that the conversation goes. So with all that being said, I hope that you have found a few different skills to help you either ask for feedback, receive feedback, or provide feedback. Again, I am still in the midst of doing this. We can always be improving. So this is just a few tips and tricks I've picked up along the way, and I hope that it can help you as well. So with all that being said, that's a wrap for this week's Career Jumpstart episode. See you next time where we discuss a topic each week focused on jumpstarting your career in tech. Thank you.